Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode or segment of Cigar Talks. I'm not gonna be smoking a cigar today. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really feeling in the mood, and I kind of want to go to sleep. So I'm just gonna do this real quick, bust this one out because there's a few things on my mind that I've been thinking about the past few days. You know, but I hope y'all staying safe. I hope y'all staying blessed, and I hope you guys know how grateful you guys should be, and also just be thankful for everything. But also thankful you guys for listening. Even if there's no listeners, I personally don't give a damn. I kind of like doing this for me. You know, they say you gotta enjoy what you do. I enjoy it. All right. But one thing that's been kind of on my mind, man, especially, you guys always hear me mention Robert Kiyosaki and stuff like that, man. But listen to Daryl Davis. At least I was looking back on he was actually now again on Joe Rogan. I've been able to catch some podcasts, but I remember seeing the first one. And I started seeing some other videos where it was like, going back to how he first started this whole journey of him, especially befriending a lot of KKK members and actually making them turn to basically turn in their gowns and stuff like that. And he had said a saying that really stuck with me. And it's been in my mind. He says, ignorance breeds fear, and it's sad to say that in this day and age it really does, but I feel ignorance itself can breed fear. Ignorance itself can hold you back from what you're really capable of doing, or maybe where you're actually supposed to be. We all have this. If damn, where I put my phone at? It's gonna be bugging me if I don't get it. Hold on. I know where it's at. Oh, God damn it. Piece of shit phone. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I couldn't find my phone. Stupid alarm that goes off every once in a while that I'm supposed to actually change. It's fucking like 10 in the morning. But well. I forgot. But where was I? Ignorance breeds fear. And not only that, that saying can be applied in anything, man. Even in politics nowadays, dude. You have this side from both sides, whether you're Democrat, Republican, man. Their ignorance itself towards one another is really kind of eye opening, because both sides don't realize you need the other side to keep the other side in check. I wouldn't want to live in a world full of just liberal policies, and I wouldn't want to live in a world full of conservative policies. I like having a mix because there's good and bad in both. Some people are just hardcore conservative liberal, and personally, for me, it's just a little ignorant. You know, like right now, you have a lot of conservatives who don't like liberals. They say that they're good, and nothing ever good came from a liberal. Nothing this ever came from their ideology. Especially now with the whole transgender thing and like the bathrooms and sports and stuff like that. But I get it. But to say that, not really, because it's like at Medicaid and Medicare, that's a liberal agenda itself. Retirement, Social Security, that's a liberal agenda. If you look at it, it's done quite a bit of good. But at the same time, you can look on the other side. To say that conservative agenda is somehow wrong, I kind of find that ignorance itself. I think we should have the right to bear arms. But if you give me the choice of to bear arms or money, I'm gonna choose money over arms any fucking day of the week. But there's others. Maybe we shouldn't even tax the rich so much. I once believed they should be taxed 50%, 60%. Now I'm just like, to be honest, not really, man. Why should they be punished for chasing dreams and stuff like that? Why should they be punished because they're making money? I think there should be a different tax bracket. But to make them overly pay so much, I feel is ridiculous. I feel like they should overly pay when they start replacing jobs with machinery. Definitely add a tax on that. Be like, hey, if you don't want to hire people and you want to hire machines for efficiency. Like, I get it. It's, it's capitalism itself, but it comes with a price. But I don't think the rich should ever be overly taxed more than 40%. I think anything higher is just preposterous. Maybe if they're worth 200 billion or a trillion, then you know what? Maybe they can make an extra tax bracket for that category. But till then, nah, man. Just let's work on meeting in the middle and not just go left or right, because it's ridiculous. You have both sides creating this freaking I can just say this mirror image of each other, not realizing, like, bro, you kind of fucking need each other. All right, because you don't want one party to have all this power. But going back to the ignorant stuff, like, if you looked at in business itself or in life, our own fear will make us not want to chase our dreams. Our own fears will make us want to live comfortably. Our own fear to the future, not knowing the future, will stop you in pursuit of your dreams. For me, that's, at least in my opinion, is a little bit ignorance, just because you don't know how the future might play out based on your decisions. You're gonna let that hold you back. I feel that's itself is a little ignorant, because that's what life is about. Life is about the mystery, not knowing what's gonna happen, what life has in store for you, what may happen in your life, depending if you take all these different choices, But at the same time, I feel like we should learn how to keep a more open mind, especially when it comes to school, business, and ideology. Like, sometimes what I get from sometimes these books, or sometimes even movies, man. A lot of what I kind of believe in, I get sometimes from movies. And I know people may be listening, may be like, "What the fuck? How you gonna take what's said in a movie as take it as like a way to live life?" Well, I don't see why not. I mean, we look at philosophy itself. We look at philosophers on how they think, but they wrote all this down. Whether it was their thought or whether they use a story to put their thoughts in perspective. I mean, just because it's a made up story doesn't mean it doesn't have some merit to it. I mean, if someone thought it up and put it in there and put dialogue in there, I mean, it has some merit. I mean, you don't just create nothing out of nothing. You gotta give we absorb so much knowledge that next we have these different views, and our mind starts to develop more, and then our ideology changes too. What we believe in can change, but that's also depending on when itself. And if you're hearing chirping, it's because it's baby pigeons. But I'm gonna look for this quote. It has to do with that same thing. Just can't remember on what page it was, and it has to do with ignorance. But yeah, I mean, let's just look at some of the sayings in movies, right? One of my favorite movies, Lord of the Rings, especially The Return of the King. There's a part in there where Frodo reflects back on what Gandalf told him. He's like, "I wish it had never came to me. I wish none of this had happened." He's like, "We do not choose what is done to us or what is given to us. We don't choose this. The only thing we can only choose what to do with the time that is given to us." That hit deep, and I'm pretty sure I butchered that stupid saying. I'm gonna have to look it up for my next one just to clarify it, because I feel like I fucking butchered the shit out of it badly. But definitely, I mean, you can look back on how life is and how all this is, how it might play out in the future, but just go for it. Whatever you feel you have to do, just do it. Doesn't matter. I mean, we're all living one life, man. Live your life for you. Not for others. Not for anything. Just live your life for you. I'm not saying also don't be a fucking dick about it. Don't go around fucking, screwing people and all that other shit. Yeah, definitely don't do that. Don't be an asshole. Just be a good person. Be a good human being, but at the same time, learn. Nowadays people just speak what they hear without really like studying more. Especially when it comes to news, like people want to just say, I'm just gonna say what fucking Trump said: fake news. There's fake news all over the fucking goddamn place, whether you're left or right. I can tell you some of the fake news they said on the right, and I can tell you the fake news they said on the left. But in the end, it doesn't matter. At one point, I was really into politics. I would get into these debates, arguments, whatever you want to call them. But now I find myself drained. I don't like. It's just draining. It just puts you in a bad perspective. At least for me, it did. The moment I decided to stop being so much into there, I decided to take control of my own life. Because I was reading through a lot of these books, especially Robert Kiyosaki and many others books that I've read. None of that shit matters, man. No one's in control of your life but your own. You can live your life dedicated to a cause that may not be a cause to fight for. And when I mean cause, I mean politics itself. Is debating every person based on their views because they're opposite of yours. Is that really what you want to dedicate your life to? Because if that is, I don't think I don't think you should fucking do it, because you're in the end you're wasting time. You're wasting valuable time that you can be doing others. You can be helping others. And though it may seem you're helping others, but sometimes before you help others, you gotta help yourself. But don't let that shit get to you, man. But here's the thing from the Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is one of my favorite sayings that he said: people's lives are forever controlled by two emotions, fear and greed. For me, I feel fear and greed lead to ignorance, or is ignorance, because you can be ignorance to fear, where not being able to control your outcome. That fear is so big that you're not gonna prosper. You're not gonna want to try to grow. You want to stay where you are. For me, that's hard, because my train of thought is now is nothing is forever. Good times don't stay forever, but neither do the bad times stay forever. Everything has a time where it will end, and then it'll come back. It is a circle of life, just like life and death. We live and then we die, then something else comes back to life. See, I'm the circle of life. Same thing here. Nothing is forever in this world, the life we live in. Nothing is forever. We may be good now, but tomorrow may not be here, may not come. Tomorrow may be the exact opposite of what yesterday was. And is that bad? No, that's just how it is. We have to adapt. We can't let that fear, and going back to that people's emotions are controlled by those two emotions, fear and greed. Being greedy is somewhat ignorant as well. Robert Kiyosaki said it best in one of his books. He was talking to one of his old friends. He went out for lunch, and that person didn't like rich people. He's like, "Oh, you're just like one of them, always wanting more and more and more." And then he told him, "It's like, no. Once you get to a certain point, you have to give back. The world, the earth, the universe needs you to give back, not just be me, 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 me." The universe doesn't like that. It doesn't like greedy people, but it also doesn't like cheap people. If something costs a certain amount, then you pay that. Because work has to be paid. Everybody has to eat. Everyone has to eat. All right. But going back to the greed, if you think everything is for you, then you're mistaken. If you just do this for money, then you'll never be satisfied, because it never ends. That's a value that can never end, And in there, he was saying, when his rich dad became even more rich, I believe it was after the hotels, there became a point in his life where he dedicated his life to give a lot more than what he had received. So he gave to a whole bunch of these charity organizations, all these different programs, all this like cancer research, AIDS research, homeless, or for kids, different programs for after school. I believe this was in Hawaii. And he said, they came to a point where my rich dad told me, you have to give back. You have to find a way to give back, and it's just like how he says, like, I don't expect an award or recognition for giving back, because if all you give back for is recognition, then you're not really doing it. You're being greedy. You're not doing it for the good of what is right, for the good of doing something good for all the wealth you have amassed. What you give to this universe, you shall receive back. And I don't know if it was in the Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I'm pretty sure it's in one of his books. I think it was Learning How to Invest. I think it was that one. He goes more into detail for it, and it's just amazing the stuff he says. Just in this past past year alone, man, I see things a little bit more different than I thought I would. Than I thought I would see them. I've become a little bit more grateful. I've become more understanding, and not only that, it's made me want to understand people more. That's why lately, as like in the last episode, not the cigar talks, but the one before, the Randy's rants, I kind of did a little thing of World War II, because just listening to what these veterans went through, listening to all these battles that the U.S. had to win, that were crucial, and that even when odds were stacked against the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, seeing what everything they went through, man, just for we can be here, it is astounding. There's some battles where they were outnumbered. There were some where they were outgunned. There were some where they didn't even have ammo. They were just sitting ducks, but the enemy didn't know that. The enemy thought they had ammo, so they wouldn't necessarily attack. They'll bombard them, but never have like a full frontal attack. And just seeing all these different things, even with the aircraft, the battle in the Pacific. One of our old neighbors in Hermiston. I think it was two of them, because there was two of them, and both of them fought in the Pacific Theater. They were involved in the Guadalcanal. I don't know exactly, because I don't remember ever kind of speaking to them directly, but I know Tits McGee would talk to them, and they were involved in Guadalcanal, and it just learning what others have given up for us to have is, for me, it made me much grateful. Not realizing like some of these guys in the midst of battle would piss in a 50 caliber machine gun just to get it working again, just so they can start shooting. And they never freaking surrendered, even though they were outnumbered. Like, if you just look at the Tiger tank and the Panzer tank, those are two tanks that the Sherman tank could not really take out head to head, especially with the Tiger tank. That Tiger tank, I believe, that had our 700 millimeter armor thick plating, and the Sherman tank could even pierce that. I believe the Sherman tank rounds would just bounce off. Imagine you're in the tank, you're fighting for your country, you're fighting for your family and all that. You think you're not indestructible, but you're in a pretty good weapon, pretty good vehicle of a Sherman tank, only to realize you just shot at a Tiger tank and it didn't even dent it. You just saw your round bounce off. Think of that. Imagine the fear in their eyes. But they didn't give up. They kept going forward. Right? They were selfless. And I feel, or at least try to tell people now, go back and read up on your history, listen to these documentaries, realize like how fortunate you are to be able to listen to this. We're all fortunate. Life kicks us every now and then. It's supposed to, because it's trying to kick us a certain direction. It's trying to teach us something. Doesn't mean life's bad, but best you can do is take it as a grain of salt, move forward. And for me, what really has driven me is my faith. That's one thing that's kept me going. But thank y'all for listening of this segment of Cigar Talks. Catch me on YouTube, Randy's Rants Podcast. Also on Instagram, Randy's Rants Podcast. That is the username for the page on Instagram. And then for YouTube, it's just Randy's Rants. Snapchat, I should be getting one. Should be back up on that here soon, because I'm kind of want to do it for this phone, but this phone, this is the S9, so I really need an upgrade. So once I upgrade that, I'm probably going back to some of my vlogs I used to do. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But as always, guys, greatness is one day at a time. Let's get it. Love you guys.